Welcome to Podcast Marketing Secrets, the place for entrepreneurs, coaches, and CEOs who are looking to grow their business with a podcast, become a key person of influence in their industry, and get their ideal clients to come to them, also known as attraction marketing. I'm your host, Al Marenton. My guest today is wealth strategist Afsha Butt. Afsha is the CEO and founder of Wealthverse, a trailblazing financial technology company. She is an award-winning consultant with a distinguished record in the financial services sector. She boasts 12 years of experience overseeing over $55 million in assets for affluent clients. Renowned for expertise in unbiased investing, Afsha is passionate about awakening the untapped financial professional within established business professionals. Utilizing intelligent money management and profound mindset development, she expertly bridges the gap between what her clients currently possess and the lifestyle they aspire to. Academically, Afsha holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Alberta, majoring in neuropsychology, mathematical sciences, and financial mathematics. This unique combination of disciplines equips her with a data-driven approach to wealth management, allowing her to secure optimal outcomes for her clients and further solidify her status as an influential wealth strategist. Welcome to the show, Afsha.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Very nice. So you said you're in Alberta. Is it super cold there right now?
I'm in Toronto currently, and
Okay.
I think we had one layer of snow and it disappeared this morning. So no snow.
Right on. So I know you're a like successful, seasoned veteran, with over a decade of experience, but what attracted you to the financial industry and what led you to become a financial advisor?
You know, I wish I could say, hey, since I was a little girl, I wanted to do this in finance. Nope. That was not the case. What really happened is I turned 18 years old and mom said, you need to get an adult job and working in a bank would be great for you to learn about how the system works. And so she took me to this building across the street from where she worked from. And I had to march on in there and apply with no experience. But I remember being 18 years old and getting the job. And from there on, kind of marks my journey into finance. I would say I learned about it when I was younger, about saving and compounding through my grandpa, but the actual career started when I was 18.
Right on. That's awesome. And so you've been doing it for over a decade, so you must love it, right? So do you might work? What kind of people do you work with?
Honestly, you're always supposed to develop your ideal client profile and make sure you're dealing with the people who you want to. But I would say over time, I just have always attracted business owners, small business entrepreneurs starting their own thing or having a partnership. They've had some level of success, but they have a lot of untapped potential, as in they don't know, the
Mhm.
right thing to do with their money. They've seen a paycheck, they have reoccurring revenue, but what do you do with it? I work with a lot of healthcare professionals, and then just naturally, a lot of women, of course, reach out to me as well. So, and then early retirees, like people who are approaching retirement, who start to realize like this paycheck that I've been earning is going to stop at some point, and I need to make sure my money's in order. And how am I going to do this?
Awesome. Very good. So, seeing how this is more like entrepreneurs and CEOs and business owners, um,
My favorite.
like you said, a lot of them they understand how to make the money and do all that kind of stuff, but they don't necessarily know how to keep it. So there's like a financial literacy, like I'm, or some kind of thing like that, right? So how can they become financially literate?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really big one, right? It's like you start to learn that you can make money, you have a skill set, it's going to be paid, whatever it is, and you start to earn revenue. But I always say, like, whether you earn 75,000 or 450,000 or more, there's still a need to budget, and a lot of us don't like that word at all, but cash
Hmm.
flow management is obviously necessary. And I see a lot of my high income earners before they come and work with us fall into that trap of I make enough money now so I can sort of buy whatever I want and I'll figure it out. I'll land my next deal to do this. And they can fall into this trap of like not paying their taxes, getting into debt, not really knowing what's going out. And you can make $1 million, but if you're spending 950,000, how much are you really making?
Yeah, for sure. And it's yeah, it's almost like, trying to have freedom in your business, but not understanding the standard operating procedures, can help you get there. And like what you offer is sort of like the standard operating procedures for finances, right?
Hmm.
So it's like a necessary evil, but it makes your life so much better if you understand it.
Yeah, I mean, we all understand SOPs for business. We also provide that for our business clients. So we have an entire, business consulting and coaching side where we realize your finances are tied to that. We want you to reinvest in your company. It's probably the greatest investment you could ever make is investing in yourself. But what slice of that is going to go into your own holding company or paid to you personally? How do you start to manage that? You really are a separate entity from your business, and either you're building a sellable business, right? Or
Hmm.
something that's going to continue on. At some point, you're not going to be able to do what you do. And so you need to understand the financial implications and what kind of assets you want to build in order to sustain you.
Right on. Awesome. Like, and you mentioned that you are a separate entity from your business. So is there a time that where you should invest in your business and a time when you should invest in yourself?
Yeah, I think like I'm a huge proponent for investing back in your business. I really do think that, if you were to take 10,000 and put it back in your business versus let's say a retirement account in let's say your 30s or your 20s early on, as much as it can compound in the retirement account, I think putting that 10,000 in your business and what it could then give you is arguably going to be more, right? Because you're building something that's going to create this recurring revenue, whereas the market or real estate's only ever going to give you so much. On the personal end, especially if you're incorporated, I always say take what you need, have your expenses paid for, but you want to start to utilize the benefits of your corporation, right? You want to start keeping money within that and eventually have a holding company. See, the thing is, people will get incorporated and they'll just keep taking money out and spending it as if they were just, earning $1 like they were before. And they don't actually utilize the benefits of like corporate tax rates and such. So, in the beginning, I definitely recommend take out only what you need and start to build your wealth within your corporation. Use the benefits of what a corporation offers.
Right on. Yeah, that makes so much sense. And so do you help people with that kind of education and those processes? Because that's something that's not, you hear you should do that, but you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we build a timeline, right? Because everyone has different seasons of their life. And a lot of the times it used to be like, oh, I work with someone in finance for my retirement. Well, what is retirement? There's people who retire and then end up working on something they're passionate about and making even more money. So it's no longer this, I'm going to work from 20 to the age of 65 and then I'm going to quit and never work again and have this perfect pension. Retirement and what it means is starting to change. And so I think aligning your business with those goals as well is more important, right? People are starting to travel more when they're younger. We realize, life is short. We have more flexibility and privilege to do those kinds of things. Whereas I feel like the generation before may have had to work a lot longer just to be able to, get that number and as an employee for the
Hmm.
retirement. But as business owners, we sort of are our own pension, we're our own retirement. So there's a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, and even with employees, there's no more like, gold watches and all that stuff. Like people like if they last 3 years at a corporation, they're doing good.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much they just flopped from corporation to corporation. And those like that, I was gonna say like they're like a different breed too, like the corporate people, but they lack a lot of financial knowledge too, right? It's almost like this hidden beast,
Mhm.
and people like you have a little the secrets to unlock that.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, since I went independent is starting to really get people to see that it's not always about making more or spending less,
Hmm.
right? It's tapping into what you already have and finding strategies and solutions to lower your taxes, make more money on the investment side, how much to put away. Like cash flow management is huge, right? It's the first thing we start with before we can start giving you advice on how to enhance your wealth. So yeah, I think it's really important.
That's awesome, and it's cool that you have like specific steps, to go through to, so you could build, if this is lacking, then this isn't going to work over here, so we need to do this first, and yeah, that's awesome. And so is it like a ongoing kind of a relationship with you once these people start working?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like traditional financial advisors, when you go in, it's like, here's what I have, here's what I sell, and I'm going to recommend these things to you, but only based on whatever I can sell. And we really wanted to take that away and start to recognize that every single person needs help, whether they have a minimum of 250,000 to invest, they need a financial plan, they need help. There's a starting point that everybody has, and we wanted to be able to meet them there, right? And we started to recognize like, oh, people come in, they have a need for lending or mortgages, or people are coming in and they have a need for business consulting. They want to scale their business. They are finally getting a ton of clients, but they, are also running thin and they want to build a team, or maybe they need some automations, right? Then there's people who want like the educational side where they maybe want to learn about crypto or how to trade in options, things like that. And I really wanted to create a company that could provide those things by bringing in those kinds of experts. So some people have started to describe it as a financial concierge, right? Where you book in with me, we figure out what your needs are, what are your top 2 or 3 pain points that you're trying to solve. And then as we solve those problems, we find more and more needs as we go because the clients just start to make more money and more issues. We're always putting out fires. And yeah, my goal is to create those relationships and make them long term.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And yeah, every time you provide solutions, you create more problems, right? So,
You're
so,
like, okay, well, now this, how do I, and also like,
yeah,
our systems and ability to create systems is drastically improving, right? Like if you're a coach and how you can run your business now versus 15 years ago is completely different, right? There's the
yeah,
amount of programming that's done in all these different softwares and project management tools. Like this is the time to be running a business.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And like you were saying, there's uh, the one thing that I've noticed and I've seen firsthand is people being able to make money, like pretty quickly, these days, because of the internet and the ability to, the Facebook ads or whatever, and that, but they don't know how to hold on to the money, and that's sort of like a big deal, and it's like I did that when I was younger too. I made like a ton of money, but I was just, it left, quicker than it was coming in, and
And to some extent, that's not your fault, right? Like we live in a consumer based society. You can find how to spend $20,000 in a day,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, yeah, and it's a so when is a good time to seek out someone like you? Is it when you're first starting out, or when you're a little further along and you're making some money and like, hey, I don't know what to do with this?
You know what? In my previous practice and how we ran it was definitely like established professional. You're making X amount. You have 250,000 investable assets. When I went independent and created my own firm, I started to realize that like I really just want to be able to work with people where they're at. So we have someone on the team, whether you're just starting out. I just helped a business owner this morning who would be starting out, tons of clients, super successful idea and what she's creating. But she wants to scale and she's afraid that she's not going to be able to do it if she does. So we're meeting her where she's at in the beginning stages, first few years, seeing a certain level of success, and we're going to help her scale, whether that means utilizing AI in her company, automating her practice, building a team, doing some of the financial business revenue, like tracking all of that and then projecting it, helping her with those goals. But then we also help the client that's, 45 years into their business and they want to sell their company and they need to know if they should do an asset or share sale. And I'm doing the financial projections for them to say, look, you need at least 4 million from this company sale to be able to live later on. So this is what you should be negotiating.
That's awesome. And one of the cool things is I listened to a couple podcasts and I was looking over your website and different stuff and it seemed like you're super passionate about this and have been passionate about helping people and helping them succeed, and definitely helping them not lose their money, So that's really cool to see, especially in the financial sector,
Yeah, I love it.
because so many are just so straight laced and not, and just really,
It's
uh,
dry. They don't make it fun.
yeah,
Half the time it
exactly.
doesn't make sense. You go into a meeting and your typical person is going to be like, well, they're smart and they seem to know what they're talking about. But I'm like, no, you need to understand what I'm saying. And I think that a sign of intelligence, if you're looking for an advisor, should be that they're able to explain complex things to you simply.
Right on. That's awesome. So, like, uh, do you have anything that are sort of missing that I'm not thinking to ask about?
Um, no, I think you did a really great job. What were you just saying right before this? I was gonna make a comment on it.
About people, like, they start making money but they don't know how to hold on to it.
Yeah, and I think it was just later. But no, I feel like you've like asked some great questions in terms of just how we help people, like what stage they're at, how they would come and see us, some of the problems we're seeing on the financial side.
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick. Before, like when somebody reaches out to you, what does that first step look like? When,
Always do a discovery call. You're going to book a session and you're going to have a one-on-one. It can be a phone call or video, whichever the preference is. And we really just try to understand what's going on for you. We have tons of solutions for people. So I'm a firm believer, like finances and, business problems is such a vast array of issues that we want to be able to tackle some of your more immediate problems. My biggest thing is, can I solve a problem for you? You know, I'm not going to try and help you or bring you on as a client if I don't think I can actually express true value. So it's always a discovery call, understanding your needs. And then, we can put you in with the right person on my team to say, okay, you need X and Y. And so you're going to sit down with these experts and then I'm going to follow up with you. And that's how we create that long-term relationship, is that we're meeting you where you're at. And then we teach you on along the way.
that's awesome.
Sorry, sorry, that's what you were saying. It was about passion. You were like, oh, like you seem to be really passionate about it. And I was like, yeah, it can be pretty dry. I'm like, that's kind of why I actually started to do things like podcasts and speak on things, because I recognize that money is just not a topic everyone's comfortable talking about. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not the thing you talk about at the dinner table. And when you do, it's always coming from like a space of shame. I spent too much. I didn't do the right thing here. Or when people talk about it, they're only talking about their wins. No one's talking about the mistakes they made. And I think that's equally important to share, because how else are you going to learn and know to do better? I feel like it's as hush hush as, relationship problems. No one wants to talk about them, but everyone has them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think that's one of the cool things about, going to someone like you that understands working with, especially with, understands working with business owners and stuff, is that you're almost like a mini little mastermind for them, to bounce ideas off of and actually help them grow and help their money grow, as opposed to just like putting it away for a rainy day or something like that.
Mm.
So that's super awesome what you're offering. How do people like find out more about you or get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm sure you can share the link. So it's Afsha Official, AFSHAA Official. And then on LinkedIn, it's Afsha Butt that you can find me on there. Wealthverse.ca is my company website. And yeah, I mean, book a call. We have a form in there that just gets you to kind of fill out what is you're currently struggling with and going through. And if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, where you're like, you usually know where your problems are. You've had a certain level of clients, there's a certain skill set you have that you're helping people with, and you're like, oh, but I wish I could have so such and such. Like, this is my next level, but I don't know how to get there. we help you figure that out.
Awesome. And we'll be sure to put all those links below for the video and audio in the show notes. So, and thank you again for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. So that concludes this episode of Podcast Marketing Secrets. This is Al Morenton signing off. I hope you have a successful day.